Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the post-Royal Rumble edition of NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com, as well as the YouTube channel and NoDQ&A videos affiliate, ringsidenews.com. This is one of the busiest news days for NoDQ.com of the year. Make sure you stay tuned to NoDQ for the very latest Royal Rumble fallout. We got news, we got videos, various reaction videos from the Royal Rumble, a lot of different reactions, a lot of comparisons between John Cena versus AJ Styles and Omega versus Okada. We got a lot of polls up. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest. For now, got your questions, got a lot to talk about, so let's get started today. First one comes from Brett. The question is, are you satisfied with Randy Orton being the 2017 Royal Rumble winner? I'm fine with it. I think that it really doesn't matter at this point. I mean, really, it did not matter who won the Royal Rumble. WWE has their matches set for WrestleMania, and really, going in, any match could have been for the WWE World title at WrestleMania, whether it's Orton versus Bray Wyatt, if that's where they're going, or Roman Reigns versus Undertaker, or any number of matches, Jericho versus Owens. I mean, that's what I would have liked to have seen. I would have liked to have seen Jericho win the Rumble. That was my personal pick, but Randy Orton winning is fine. If it leads to Bray Wyatt winning the Elimination Chamber and winning the WWE title from Randy Orton at WrestleMania, then I think that's a huge positive. I think that that would be great for WrestleMania, for Bray Wyatt to win the WWE title from Orton. That would be awesome. So if that's the plan, if that's what WWE is going to do, then I would say Randy Orton winning the Royal Rumble is the right move. Some would say Bray Wyatt should have won the Rumble and have Orton win Elimination Chamber. Either way, I mean, if the outcome is Bray Wyatt getting a WrestleMania main event, then I think that people should look at it as a positive. I mean, yes, Randy Orton winning, it's not a new guy winning the Royal Rumble, it's somebody winning who already won a Royal Rumble. But on the other hand, we have to see where it leads to and see how this thing plays out. Right now, it's too early to say if Orton winning was the right decision or not. Time will tell. This one comes from Ahmad. Hey Aaron, how do you rank Randy Orton among the all-time greatest? Is he a top 10? And is he like JBL says? I think it's too soon to tell with Randy Orton. I think that he's on his way to being one of the all-time greats. I mean, he's certainly one of the top WWE stars of the past decade. Arguably, people would say he's the number 2 biggest star of the past 10 years next to John Cena. Cena, Orton, Batista, and Roman Reigns, those would be the top 4 of the past decade. Orton has had a tremendous WWE career, and it's still going. He's still got years left in his career. So when it's all said and done, when his career is finished, I mean, Randy Orton very well could go down as a top 10 WWE superstar, one of the all-time greats. I mean, he's certainly on his way to being a top 10 as far as the all-time greatest WWE stars. You know, longevity is definitely a factor, and Orton he's standing the test of time. He continues to be a major player in WWE, and I think he's going to have several years to go where he's going to be on top, and he will go down as one of the biggest. So I'm fairly certain he will eventually crack the top 10. I'm not sure if he's there yet. I'm not sure if I would put him there yet, but I feel he's on his way. This one comes from Ty Marshall. WTF, was Roman is in the Rumble at number 30 but not AJ Joe. Is Vince getting stupid or just freaking losing his mind? Royal Rumble 2017, the 30th entrant, Roman Reigns. You know, several weeks back when WWE announced that it would be Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens, I said, hey, WWE finally smartened up. They're not going to put Reigns in the Royal Rumble. They have learned their lesson from 2014 and 2015, and 2016 for that matter, although at least fans were happy with that outcome in 2016. So, what does WWE do? They put Reigns in at number 30. I'm not sure what WWE was thinking with this one. I really don't. And I got a lot of questions about this. Got this one here from Shooter G. Do you think Reigns turned heel in that Rumble? I hope he did. I'm a Reigns fan, and him at number 30 somewhat ruined it. I think Reigns at 30 ruined it for a lot of people. And no, it was not a heel turn. Reigns is not turning heel. I mean, unless he's turning heel at WrestleMania and beating The Undertaker, becoming the top heel in the company. I mean, the fans reacted to Reigns like he was the top heel when he came out. I mean, it was pretty much the biggest negative reaction I've seen on a WWE show in a long time. When Reigns eliminated Undertaker, the boos were just thunderous. It was incredible. And people that were at the show live told me it was just very much anti-Reigns, and people were just booing him out of the building, and people were very unhappy about him being number 30. So what was WWE thinking? What were they expecting? I mean, I think, just like what I said earlier about how it doesn't really matter who wins the Royal Rumble, it doesn't matter with Roman Reigns. WWE can really do whatever they want, and some people are saying, well, WWE's like WCW, they're pushing the old guys and pushing the guys that fans don't want on top. But let's face it, WWE dominates the market in the United States. They are professional wrestling. I mean, yes, there are independent promotions. You have TNA, but they are all way down here. WWE's way at the top, and they control everything. And as far as they're concerned, they can do whatever the hell they want. And I've said this before, if people react to Reigns, they're fine with that. They want people making noise, even if it's not the noise that they want. And yeah, maybe they are tone deaf to some degree. That's definitely debatable. Some people might say that, but at the same time, I think they had to know. They really had to know by putting Reigns out there, number 30, fans were going to boo it. I mean, they would be crazy to not think that. I mean, anybody with a brain would tell you that Roman Reigns coming out at number 30 would not generate a positive reaction, and Reigns eliminating Undertaker would not generate a positive reaction. I mean, I said this weeks ago, if Reigns beats Undertaker at WrestleMania, how can you make that work without Reigns being a heel? The fans are going to boo it out of the building. They're going to boo Reigns out of the building just having a confrontation with The Undertaker. I mean, it's painfully obvious. So what is WWE trying to accomplish? I mean, it's clear they want fans to cheer for Roman Reigns. They go as far as to edit crowd noise, and they even edited the fan reacting to Reigns losing the U.S. title. I mean, they want people to like Reigns. The whole thing is just so silly, but they're going to keep doing what they're doing. They think that the whole template with John Cena worked with the mixed reactions. So with Reigns, it's the same way that, yeah, fans are going to boo, but they're still going to watch. They're still going to spend money on the product. That's WWE's attitude. So, nothing's going to change. Nothing is going to change unless WWE starts losing money and fans tune out. But the fact is, WWE has such a core fan base, and fans have no other real options in the United States. You either watch TNA or just stick to the indies, or you watch New Japan or Mexico or Lucha Underground, but there's not a lot of options, and WWE really dominates the market, and because of that, they can throw out there whatever they want, and people will have to accept it. And they do accept it. People keep watching. And I got this one here from Daniel Jobber. After Roman's entry in the Rumble tonight, does WWE have any other choice but turning Roman heel? They do have a choice. They do not have to turn Roman Reigns heel. They could have him keep coming out there, and they could have him beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania, fans hating it, fans threatening to cancel the network and all that stuff. But fans are going to keep watching. I mean, until business actually takes a hit, WWE's not going to change anything. And I've said this before. It's a really weird situation because WWE is hell-bent on making Roman Reigns this babyface character, John Cena 2.0, and the fans don't want to see it. They don't like it. They don't like Roman Reigns as John Cena 2.0. I don't think it's hating Roman Reigns, the person playing the character. They're hating the way the character is portrayed on TV. They want to see something different. And as far as the Royal Rumble goes, fans, I think, wanted to see a big surprise. They wanted to see Samoa Joe or Kurt Angle or something like that. And when Reigns was number 30, you know, a lot of people were disappointed. So again, I'm not really sure what WWE was trying to accomplish with that. You know, some are saying, well, maybe it was done so Orton would get a better reaction winning, but Orton's still technically a heel right now. So the whole thing is really weird. I don't get it. I don't get what WWE's doing. The Rumble match did not make sense to me. The whole thing, I think, was a mess, but if it gets more people watching WWE, subscribing to the network, and spending money, then WWE is going to consider the negative reaction as a good thing. You know, there's no such thing as bad press, you know, that whole argument too. So, you know, the publicity and all the hype and talk, you know, WWE's attitude could be, well, people are talking about WWE, they're talking about Roman Reigns, so it must have worked. All right, got this one here from Exam Man, James Bong T. God. Do you think Roman Reigns should turn heel next year and feud with Cena and make Reigns the top heel? I think turning Roman Reigns heel would be great. I would love to see it, and I think Roman Reigns ending Undertaker's streak and becoming the top heel would work really well. But in order to do that, you have to change Reigns' character, and he cannot be John Cena 2.0. He cannot be the happy-go-lucky babyface who overcomes the odds. They need to make him a badass. They need to do something different with him. So, you know, I think it could work if WWE wanted to make the change, but I do not see it happening. I really doubt WWE's going to turn Roman Reigns. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they do turn him. I hope he does become the top heel in the company, and maybe he could become a major superstar, not just the guy doing fairly well in WWE, but he could potentially be the next Rock or Steve Austin if they turned him heel and we got to see a whole other side to his character and something new. You know, that would be awesome, but I'm not expecting it to happen. Should it happen? I say yes, but I don't think it's going to happen. Got this one here from B. Hill. Do you find it disappointing that WWE played up the anyone can show up angle for Royal Rumble, but then no surprise entrance happened? Yeah, I was definitely disappointed with that, and I've talked to a lot of fans online, and a lot of people were unhappy about the lack of surprises. I mean, really the only one was Ty Dillinger. He was the one big surprise, even though fans were expecting it. I think fans were at least hoping for it, and WWE delivered on that. That was a cool moment to see Ty Dillinger at number 10. I'm glad WWE did that. However, I mean, like I said during the review video, I think maybe the attitude is that WWE wanted to put a lot of talent that is working there on the show and not have people off the show. I mean, as it is, American Alpha had no role on the show whatsoever. So, you know, I think WWE was trying to get as much of their talent on the show as possible for the sake of morale, rather than bring in some of the legends to take those Royal Rumble spots. The thing is, though, one of the things that is so appealing about the Royal Rumble is the surprise entrance. I mean, that's one thing I look forward to every year, and I think a lot of fans look forward to. You know, it's the nostalgia, being able to see the legends come out for one more pop and have one more moment in the ring, you know, even if it's for a couple of minutes, you know, just to hear the music again and, you know, have the big entrance. You know, it's cool. It's a lot of fun to watch when you have the surprise entrance and you get to see some of the old timers. It's a feel-good moment when you have somebody like Goldust come back, or Hacksaw Jim Duggan or something, or you see the debut of a new superstar in the Rumble, like AJ last year. That was a classic moment for AJ to debut in the Royal Rumble. So to me, not having Joe there was a huge missed opportunity. And, you know, I wasn't really expecting Angle to be there, but, you know, I thought there was a very realistic chance of Joe being there. So, yeah, that was a big disappointment that Joe was not in the match. I mean, that was a great opportunity to debut him, and I think WWE missed the boat on that for sure. Got this one here from Kane. Was it just me, or was Ty Perfect 10 Dillinger the best thing about the Rumble? I mean, that was definitely one of the highlights, like I said, because that was something fans wanted to see. He was a surprise entrant, and, you know, it was a fun moment for him to come out conveniently at number 10. To me, the biggest highlight of the Rumble was probably Braun Strowman. I think WWE did a good job with Strowman coming in there and cleaning house and tossing out Kalisto like he was a feather. That was very entertaining. To me, the Rumble went downhill after that, though. And I'm just not sure what WWE was thinking during that second half of the Rumble with how they handled Lesnar and Goldberg and, of course, Roman Reigns. There were a lot of questionable things that I thought WWE did in that Rumble match, but Strowman, that was very entertaining. This one comes from Ray Pearson. The indie references Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles have made against John Cena and Cena's responses, do you think that they're personal remarks? No, it's just business. I mean, it's all part of the game. It's all part of building up hype and getting the fans worked up, and especially getting the indie fans and the diehard WWE fans worked up. WWE knows what they're doing in that sense. They know that by referencing the indies that it's going to generate a reaction from people and get people emotionally invested in the storyline. So that's why it's done. It's nothing personal. I mean, these guys are doing and saying what it takes to sell tickets. That's the bottom line. It's not personal at all. These guys are great friends. They're just trying to sell something and get people invested in the match and get people talking about it and worked up. They want people to be having emotions, whether it's excited or angry or whatever. I mean, this is what WWE wants. They want the emotional response from the fans. This one comes from Jishnu. What is the finishing point of the Miz and Daniel Bryan storyline? I'm not sure there is a finishing point. I think the whole thing was designed just to get Miz over as a heel and nothing more. Daniel Bryan, he's not coming back to wrestle again. And WWE did not even do the thing at the Rumble that a lot of us thought WWE could do for Easy Heat and have the Miz come out to Daniel Bryan's entrance. That was not done. I mean, I suppose Bryan can bring in somebody to face the Miz at WrestleMania. I could see that potentially happening, but beyond that, I think that's as far as the storyline is going to go. I mean, I'm not expecting Bryan to really do anything physical with the Miz. If anything, maybe Bryan will have somebody represent him against the Miz, but I think that's it. I think that's as far as the storyline will go. This one comes from Sir Tony Styles. What's your opinion on Ric Flair and Mick Foley's feud? I thought it was a good feud, and maybe that one was a bit more personal, and that is something that started off personal and turned into a storyline. Ric Flair did criticize Mick Foley in his book, and Foley feels that maybe Flair held him back in WCW, and that was a factor in Mick Foley leaving WCW because he was frustrated with his position in the company. But of course, these guys are professionals, and when it's all said and done, even if there are personal differences, the end goal is to make money. And these guys, I think, took that situation and played up on it and turned it into a great storyline. And Foley and Flair, I mean, they had a very entertaining match at SummerSlam in 2006 and then later in TNA. I mean, they worked really well together, and the promos were great. So yeah, as I've said before, when you mix real life with storyline, sometimes you get the most compelling television shows when you're able to successfully blend real life with story, and people are not able to tell the difference what's real and what's staged. But at the end of the day, they're all professionals, and sometimes they'll take shots at other guys, to sell books. Ric Flair, I'm sure, is looking to sell as many copies of his book as possible. So, his mindset is to say something controversial that might generate some interest. As Bischoff said, controversy creates cash. This one comes from Brian. What are your thoughts about Buff Bagwell making it in WWE? I have mixed feelings. I think on one hand, Buff could have been a bigger deal in WWE, and I think he wasn't really given much of a chance. On the other hand, by the time he came into WWE, he had developed a bad reputation, and I guess there was an incident with Shane Helms. Quite frankly, I think WWE was just looking for a way to get rid of him. I think that he was probably brought in reluctantly, and people had mixed feelings about him to begin with, and any one incident and he was going to be gone. He said in an interview with Mike and Jeff back on XM back in the day, Extreme Mayhem in 2002, Actually, yeah, I think it was 2003 actually, but he was on Extreme Mayhem with Mike Nagel and Jeff Meacham, and you know, he said he felt like he was walking on eggshells, and I could see his perspective too from how things went down. That, you know, with all these people in WWE, you know, you have to be on your very best behavior at all times, and any one little slip up could cost you your job. And I think, you know, maybe WWE was just looking for a way to get rid of him. You know, that match with Booker T, I mean, those guys had no chance. I mean, that crowd was booing the name WCW before those two guys even got to the ring. That crowd did not want to see WCW. So when Bagwell and Booker T went out there, the crowd was against that match before they even locked up. So it doesn't matter. You know, some people say, well, they had a bad match and that's why. No, the crowd was already against WCW. They did not want to see it. Those guys had no chance. So, you know, to judge Bagwell just on that match, I mean, I think it's unfair because of how the fans had already decided they were going to react to WCW. This one comes from Slow Motion. What are your thoughts on Kurt Angle's 2001 face turn and quick return to heel? His face run was great, especially Milk-O-Mania. Why go back heel? That was a really weird period in WWE. Yes, I think Kurt Angle did a great job as a babyface and the whole Milk-O-Mania thing. Very entertaining stuff. And Kurt can play a great babyface, no question about it. You know, my whole issue was Steve Austin being a heel. What happened was, after Survivor Series, when Austin was back to being a face, you know, WWE decided to just flip them and have Angle go back to being a heel, so you had a balance between heels and faces. And then I think they turned Undertaker heel and Jericho heel. So then, you know, they were really flipping these guys around a lot during that period. And, you know, things were changing all the time. The storylines were changing rapidly. It was just a really weird period. I mean, that's all I can say about that time in WWE, and that's why Angle's face run did not last that long, because creatively WWE was moving in all sorts of different directions all the time. But yeah, I definitely feel it was a good run for Angle, and you know, when he turned face a couple years later, you know, that was a good run as well. That'll do it for this edition of No DQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. Make sure you check out my Royal Rumble review video with David Payne, more detailed thoughts on the Rumble, as well as the NXT review video, and I will see you guys next time for more No DQ&A video.